Good morning, you guys. It
Morning.
what day is it, Kelly?
Tuesday. I was almost going to say hump day, but
We're close to hump day. Not quite there. We're pre-hump day. It's Tuesday, and we're going to make it a positive, awesome Tuesday. That's the sound of an awesome day starting, right?
Woo-hoo.
So let's take 3 deep breaths in and 3 deep breaths out. All right, ready? Breathe in good, breathe out bad. Nice. I needed that. I still can't take a totally big breath in without getting all the boogers and stuff from being sick. And that's not a very positive feeling. So I'm doing kind of like a half deep breaths. You guys get it. But I am very grateful for this day. Kelly, what are you grateful for on this day?
I'm grateful for my organizational skills because I've got everything in order for me to leave. And I'm leaving a house full of boys, dog, cat, son, husband. So it's I've got lunches all kind of laid out so that everyone can quick get in and out in the morning. And yeah, I've got myself pretty much ready to go. And I'm very appreciative for how I've developed those skills over the years.
Yeah, she is a champ when it comes to being organized and being on time and all that kind of stuff. And she makes me feel bad because I'm usually late, as I should feel bad. She doesn't make me feel bad. I feel bad because she role models being on time very, very well. Her and Dan.
That's two emerald personalities that live together. You understand that?
Very, very checklist process oriented people, Kelly and Dan. I have that side of me too, but not usually for this kind of stuff. So Kelly and I are getting ready to go out of town together. My husband Aaron is of course going to be with us, and we'll tell you about that in a second. But we're going to be gone for a few days, so we obviously need to plan. And my husband Aaron, who's doing a lot of the food prep for the trip, has done all of that stuff, so he's all on board. He had a list and everything.
All right,
got it all laid out. I have not done anything to get ready yet. We're leaving this morning. I needed to work and sleep, and so that's what I did. But I've got time this morning to do it, so it won't take too long. I already know what I'm going to take, so that's not a big deal. So today, what we're grateful for, Kelly's grateful for being organized. I'm grateful for her being organized. That saves my booty so many times. What I'm grateful for is, which one should I pick? I'm grateful for traveling with people who are really organized. That makes my life so much easier. I'm grateful for these opportunities to get together and grow together. It's a really amazing opportunity. We have some really great girlfriends, Jenny coming down from Chicago, and Elaine Jordan and Lori Ruby coming from Colorado, two sisters. All are awesome ladies and joining us all together, staying in one big house while we're going to be at this incredible event. So I'm grateful for having that opportunity to spend that time with all of these people attending this event that's really a game-changing, life-changing event. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about, the question of the day. What's your favorite live event? And that's, there's so many different kinds. It could be a sporting event. It could be a music event. It could be a crafting event. It could be a personal development event. All kinds. There's just all kinds of events. So for me, my absolute all-time favorite event for sure is going to be a personal development event. I just love them so much. I never went to one until I was 41 when I went to my very first one. And that was Dani Johnson, Dani Johnson. She's an amazing woman. I went to 5 of her events within 2 years, and I loved it. And then Oh, sorry, I
Oh,
saw the.
you
Oh,
muted
it was
yourself?
the other Paula that was muted.
Oh.
Um, and that got me started on personal development events. And since then, I've probably been to 20 more and absolutely love them. Kelly, why don't you tell about the one we're going to?
Well, that I almost said that was the only live event I have been to, but I went to Growth last fall, so I almost forgot about that. Little smaller scale than what I'm used to, but back in 2016, I went to my very first High Performance Academy live with Brendan Burchard. And he is, obviously, you've heard us talk about him. He is our mentor and teacher and just, yes, all around mentalist and you name it. He has helped me grow his processes, not him personally, because I don't know him personally, but his processes and the things that he teaches. The thought processes have changed the direction of my life, definitely. I never knew anything about personal development. I mean, I did, you go to the library and it's self-help, and you kind of like self-help, okay, whatever, because when I was growing up, that kind of thing, self-help, I think for me, I felt like was kind of a stigma that people thought maybe was a little bit of a stigma of, well, you might need help, but I don't need help. And it wasn't talked about in the same way it is today, even though we need to be talking about it more. But so it was different. And when I was in need of help, I had a leader in my life that recognized that, I think, and she offered me a ticket. And I went, and that was one of my first events with Paula, but I wasn't with her per se. They took me into the fold, this big group of women, and it was a wonderful 4-day, very immersive, very exhausting experience. And I came out just a changed person. To be in a room with, and when I say a room, I'm talking like a ballroom. There's, what is it, Paul? Like 1,000, maybe 1,500 people.
Well, the one you went to was about 2. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like stadium huge, but
it's a lot of people.
Pretty grand. Yeah,
it is. And to be in a space where everyone's thoughts and their mind is in the same direction is a really amazing thing, because there's so much adversity in the world, so much going on, differing opinions, and there are a lot of differing opinions in that room too, but everyone is there for the sole intention of being better. And it's not often that you get to spend 4 days from 9 a.m. till 7-8 o'clock at night learning and growing and talking and doing work in a very, very safe place. And I know that sounds weird to say, because you're like, oh, you got like thousands of people are in this room and it's a safe place, but it's safe for you to share and to dig deep and do work that needs to be done, because everybody's there doing the same thing. And if they're not digging, they're supporting. And that's what I think is like the coolest thing. It's like when it's not your turn to dig, everyone's always supporting. And I know Paula had a different experience with this, but they do breakout groups. And oh my God, I was so scared. I think I pitted out every shirt that I wore that day, every day, because I was so nervous to like talk to people and to be in those, it was sometimes 4 or 5 people or whatever. And but to talk to people I didn't know and talk about like things that meant something to me or my fears, it was like, that's scary. That's being vulnerable. But I knew I was there to learn, and I was given some tips, from people, and Paula can probably tell you her first experience with that. But it was really scary, but to push myself out of my comfort zone in a safe space like that was, the growth was like, I can't even fit it in the screen. And it took time for that growth to take hold and go out into the real world with it. But it was that catalyst, like that seed was planted, and I just kept watering it and watering it and watering it. And the seed grew. And there were times that it was stunted. There was only a couple leaves, but then this flower bloomed. This flower bloomed, and I'm so excited to go I mean, we're leaving a little bit earlier and I'm going to be away from my husband for like almost a week. I'm like, God, honey, I don't ever leave you for like a week. But I'm super excited because every experience is just, it's just like reinforces my foundation, and it's stronger, and I feel stronger. And I'm just going in excited to meet people, and I'm going to see people that, I haven't seen since my first one, and, that repeat going, and just get to, form better friendships and new friendships. And I'm super, super excited to go. So before I'd be like a little bit apprehensive, but I'm just really super excited to go. And so I want other people to experience this too. And I know our hero moms are out there, and this is all part of the process. So stick with it, be part of this, because we want you to be part of it too, where you can grow from the inside out. We want you to go this way and how you feel with your body and your health, but we want you to go this way in your personal development and your growth and your legacy. And this is what it's all about. I'm a high performance coach, but this is my time to learn too. So I get to go, and I don't have to, it's not one of those where I'm coaching other people. I mean, I help people, but I get to dig and do the work too for 4 days, which is really cool. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many cool things. And we're going to be sharing about this every day while we're there, you guys, so we can give you an idea of kind of what that experience is like. We can't take a video camera in the room, but we can take it and show you guys like how, what the crowd looks like, and how exciting it is, and what the energy is like. It's one of the few kinds of live events. Personal development live events are some of the few live events where everybody goes to have this incredible positive non-compete experience, where we just show up to everybody to, like Kelly said, to grow, to just be better. And so there's no people sizing each other up, or, it's not like that. We become kind of like, I know it sounds super corny, but it is kind of like one big family. Like, because we're there for the same purpose, immediately walls are let down. People feel, like Kelly said, safe. And it is like scary for some people who it's their very first time. Like Kelly, my very first time, I was terrified when he said, all right, let's break up into groups of 4. I'm like, why? What are we going to do in groups of 4? And he's like, and all the 3 little questions I just had you write down, I want you to share your answers with everyone. I'm like, I'm just like, holy, I have to talk to people. I have to share things. This is totally scary. And he's like, everybody gets 3 minutes. I'm like, 3 minutes? What am I going to say for 3 minutes? That's a long time. And I was like, well, I was looking for where the bathrooms are. I was like, I'm just going to sneak out to the bathroom. I can stay in the bathroom for 3 minutes. No big deal. Yeah. And I did that. I totally skipped the whole first breakout group and gypped myself of that experience, because I was so in my ego of what are they going to think about me? What am I going to say? And all that stupid stuff. And I didn't know that he was going to do breakout groups like 10 more times. So I was like, I can't go to the bathroom every single time. So I went to, obviously I got caught, had to be in a breakout group. People, because what happens is we're all sitting together, like in an audience type setting. And so as soon as he's like, all right, breakout groups, and everybody's like closing their journals, getting ready, and they're like, hey, you want to be in our group? Hey, you want to be in our group? And so as soon as somebody's like, hey, you want to be in our group? And I was like it was too late. Like, I was locked in. I would have to be rude to get out of that at that point, and I couldn't do that. So I was like, damn it. I have to be in a group. That means I have to think of something really super amazing to say for my answer. It's got to be cooler than anybody else's answer. It was so stupid how much of my ego was like tainting my experience. I was a little bit miserable because of that. How dumb is that? So I had to get over that real quick. But it was like, oh, I'll go last. You go first, because it was clockwise. I'd be first to speak up to say, why don't you go first? So that I could be last. So I could listen to what everybody else said and then gauge what I should say, that would measure up to what everybody else said. And so they're going, and the whole time I was like, do 3 minutes closer to my turn. And I could just feel the pressure with each person being done. And I'm not even listening to what they're saying. I'm just thinking, oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? It was just the most selfish version of the experience possible. And then when it would get to me, I was like, yeah, like all shaky and everything. Have a good day. Drive safe. Sorry. So anyway, that was kind of like my first experience, and I was just like incredibly nervous, but I got through it, and I got through it enough to like really absorb some really amazing stuff. I don't know if the camera, yeah, see these are all my journals from all. Well, I probably have more than this, but there's a bunch of them right there. Every time we go to this particular event, he hands out these journals, and so this particular one is from Growth, but I have several like this, and with tons and tons of notes. Some of them I didn't fill them up my first event, so I take them to other events. Here's another one. This is new style, much bigger, and I'll use them for multiple events because they have extra pages in them. But that's been really a huge thing. And sometimes I just like to sit there, take all my journals off, put them in a pile, and just kind of breeze through them. Remind myself of some of the nuggets that I got out of them. But like Kelly, that was absolutely transforming for me. My first Brendan Burchard event, High Performance Academy, that's the one we're going to this time. I was invited last minute as a guest and of a certified high performance coach. And so I jumped on it right away. It was up in San Jose. And the whole time I was just like, except for the breakout groups, I was like, but the rest of the time I was just like.
So the first one you went to was in San Jose?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Santa Clara,
yeah.
Whatever that is, up by San Jose. And I was just like floored. I'd heard of Brendan Burchard before, and I even had a book of his. And I listened to one like little audio teaching from like an audio from Success Magazine online. And I liked his stuff. The book I had, this book,
The Charge,
was way over my head at the time. And so I got about halfway into chapter 1, and I was like, yeah, where's the one, these stories and like, the dot to dot little activities. Like I was just like, I was so young and doing personal development that was just way too complex for me to grasp at that time. But thinking about how ridiculous that was. I feel so weird saying that. But anyway, I went and blew my mind, and I signed up for his high ticket package because I wanted more. It changed my life, and that's when I signed up to be a certified high performance coach. Kelly, how many times have you been to High Performance Academy?
I was just thinking, I think it's 6. I think 6 times.
You got 6. This will be 6.
4. Did we go last March?
No.
When did we go to Phoenix?
Fall.
Oh, we went in the fall, last fall. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this will be my 6th one. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny to think that, you say that like it's embarrassing to admit that, you feel weird saying that. But there's somebody out there that's just like you, but look at your growth curve too. And people would never, like, knowing you today, they would never believe that you were like that. Like, really? Like, Paul, I mean, I even was like, because when I knew you at that time, you were not at that spot either. It was like, really? You were like that? And what I love is there's people there. I mean, there's some very successful business people, but they don't, walk around going, oh, I'm so successful. There's people who are there and don't know why the hell they're there, and they're like, well, I just came with a friend because they told me, that this was a cool thing. There's people who like, there's moms that are there. There's people, who just work, regular W-2 job and are just there and maybe discover something about themselves that they didn't realize was there before. And I love how Brendan takes it to that level, kind of that basic 1 + 1 = 2. You know, he's not going to go, he's not going to start with the high algebra where everyone's going, huh? You know,
Mhm.
it's gradual. It's like, what are you grateful for today? Just share it, you know, in the group. And it's
Yeah.
like, those are the easy things, but it starts the day and starts the intention of your whole experience, whether he does that daily or the first day or whatever. Um, but it's it's just so cool. And I get something different every single time I go because I'm
Mhm.
different when I go too. So I'm looking for that next level something. And sometimes it's going back to the 1 + 1 = 2 and going, oh yeah, I need to remember that. You
Yeah.
know, like when he's at growth, sometimes there's a few of those people that work the circuit, but he was at the growth conference last fall. And remember when he said, he being Brendan said, service, not selfie.
Mhm.
To me, that's going back to the 1 + 1 = 2, because life is not all about me, you know, woohoo, yeah, look at me, you know, and I'm being, you know, facetious when I say the selfie, but, you know, life is about being in service to other people. And that's what grows your heart. That's what grows your mind. In a
Mhm.
lot of cases, that's what grows your pocketbook too. But that's always secondary when you're out there serving others because you feel good about it. You know, it's just going outside of yourself. Like, well, for instance, this morning, Paula's not really late. She's sometimes late, but she's not really late. And it was getting to be 15 minutes almost past the time that we're supposed to meet on here. And I was like, I got this weird feeling like, is everything okay? You know, it's like, so I sent her a note. Is everything okay? She's like, oh my God, I totally overslept, you know? Like, you know, it's like I wasn't sitting here going, oh, come on, I got to get ready. I got to do this. I got to do that. It was like, oh, wait a minute. We need to serve you guys. We need to
Mm.
share our experiences with you because there's people that deal with the same things. And that's what's really cool too, is you get in a room and there are people there that have the same fears as you. And you don't feel so alone. And you find out how they're dealing with it. And you write down their answers when you're in a group because sometimes those click with you
Mhm.
know, and something they've done or something they've said will benefit you when you get home and you're working on changing your morning routine or your evening routine because it's better for you. You know, you start thinking along those lines, how can I improve so that I can improve my family? I can
Yeah.
improve the people around me. It's that empower yourselves to empower others, which is, you know, our big message too. So I just get so excited. I can't wait.
Now, this will be my 11th High Performance Academy. Since
Crazy.
2014, that was when I went my very first time, and I've gone either once or twice every year since then, mostly twice a year. And it is what I'm certified in as an expert and how I make my living primarily in with coaching clients using this curriculum. But I go because same like Kelly, like it's an opportunity for me to just grow my learning in high performance because our mentor Brendan, he brings a different flavor to it every single time. But also, like Kelly says, we're in a different place. We've grown since the last time, so there's new things to grasp. You know, sometimes we go, or like especially the first time I went, there was so much information. I was like, I probably took 5% what I heard and actually like absorbed that. Because it was just way too much. So then the next time I took a little bit more, you know, like just keep layering it on. And so it's important to me. Like when you find sort of your jam when it comes to a mentor or an experience that brings you joy, it's important, I think, to stay, you know, stay connected to that. And the community is just incredible. The people who are there, every time I'm there, I meet amazing people with incredible stories, and everybody just super proactive and trying to push their lives forward to a better place. And it's just such a positive, really, really great place to meet good people and to learn and grow yourself. And so he covers the 6 pillars of high performance every single time at every high performance academy, and he adjusts how he goes into each one based on the audience that's there, which is so cool. Like he sends out a survey to everybody who's attending, and based on our scores from the survey or this assessment, he directs how he talks about each one based on what we scored the lowest in as an audience, so that we walk away with the biggest benefit and value of what we need right now. And I just think that's so unselfish for him to do it that way, because certainly he could have his own agenda, and he does have an agenda, of course, right? He knows his audience well enough to know what he's got to bring and prepare for and all that kind of stuff. But when you know your message 50 layers deep, like he does, he can on the fly adjust based on our needs. And I just think that that's like, to me, one of the ultimate versions of service versus selfie. So he just, he just has a really excellent way. I'm not trying to like sell you on him. He can sell himself on you if you
Right.
give a chance. He doesn't need me to sell you on him. I'm just trying to communicate what the reasons why I really am passionate about his teaching and the content that he teaches, the subject matter that he teaches. And it's because he is an excellent teacher, like one of the best teachers I've ever been a student of. And he doesn't just inspire and motivate, but he educates, and he gives you tools, even at his live events, which are, pretty in depth for an introductory experience. But he gives you things that you can walk away with and go implement in life and literally change things in your life for the better. And whereas sometimes I've been to events where they get you all excited, amped up, they sort of show you blind spots in your life that you want to step up in, but you have no tools. You walk away with really no tools that you can go and start improving your life with. And so within the next couple of weeks after the event, everything kind of fizzles out, and you're just kind of back to the life that you had before you went to the event. So, but that's another reason why it's important to stay connected to that teaching, to the community, and keep growing that experience. So his 6 pillars, Kelly, what are those?
Oh my God, don't ask me that. I'm like totally
Psychology.
Yeah, as I say, productivity, psychology, physiology,
Persuasion.
Oh, that's right. It's awful. I coach on this, and I just
Presence
yes. That's terrible.
So he kind of gives us an understanding of what he means by those things, and what high performance means by his definition. And it is, high performance is reaching and sustaining long-term success while also maintaining well-being and positive relationships. So I love that he defines that for us, so that we can understand what we're going after if we choose to grow in the way of high performance, the way that he uses that word. So high performance is a word that we hear in all different kinds of ways. The first time I ever was introduced to the concept of high performance, it was in the area of sports and athletics. And this is definitely not about sports at all. And
you're going to be in life for a long time, so you got to have a high performance life. Sports go away. You can't compete at the same level just due to age and all that stuff. So it's living life.
It's sustaining and maintaining.
Yes.
That's the key. I think it's different than you hear high performance or peak performance, which in an elite athlete's life is very important. Like say an Olympian, for example, I think tons of training, years of training for the Olympics, so that they're at that place that when they hit the Olympics, they're at their peak, they're at their highest level, they perform throughout the Olympics at their highest level, and then they come down. Or you take a bodybuilder, for example, train for the bodybuilding event, they're at their peak, and afterwards a change of training and come back down until the next one. So it's like peaks and valleys of how they train. But when it comes to this kind of high performance of sustaining and maintaining, it's like we want to train, get to our peak and stay there.
What I love about that is you have a beautiful graph like that. So it's like a tabletop, but so that's high performance, but life is still going like this. It's just, this is how a high performer deals with it. So you still have this going on in the background, but you're dealing with it up here. So you're always at the peak, even when life is, crap or feels like crap for other people. That it's there, but you know how to deal with it because you have the tools, you have the framework, you know how to flip it so that it's not that crap that you feel, but you're dealing with it and you're working through it. So you're staying up here. I love
Mhm.
that. I love
And
that.
then and to just add on to that too, what I love is when I first started out, I was just starting to get a divorce. So my life was very like this, like drama all the time, right? Lots of highs and lows emotionally. But then getting these tools, what I noticed that life wasn't like this so much. It started becoming like this,
Mm-hmm.
started evening out more. So the highs and lows were less extreme in terms of like just the way I created a lifestyle and the way I experience life. Uh, but and that's ideal. We kind of want it to be in that place, unless we obviously are going for an extreme experience that we create, like like an awesome vacation or something like that, where we're seeing incredible sights or those kinds of things. Like going to High Performance Academy is definitely like a little bit of a spike for me in terms of extreme excitement compared to my regular everyday life, right? But my point is that when you have these tools, like Kelly said, these extreme highs and lows in life become more balanced, and
Mm-hmm.
and they're not, so that you're not being pulled and pushed and pulled and pushed all the time in all these different ways, because that's really difficult emotionally to manage. So
Mm-hmm.
there's just tons of tools, like just tons of uh, concepts and frameworks and ways to make your life a better experience. This is why legacy is so important for Hero Mom Nation, our Hero Mom Legacy Academy, for Kelly, Michelle, and I. We really emphasize the legacy aspect because we understand that we don't want to spend all our energy doing this, managing this. We don't want to
That's
spend our
exhausting.
It is
Yeah.
exhausting. We want things to be up here so that, every time this gets raised, the level of this gets raised, then we can raise everything a little bit more, a little higher, and create the experience of life that we actually want when we're at that, when we're 100 years old, looking back at our life with no regrets. We don't want to be dealing with this.
Right.
We'll start, like Kelly said, getting exhausted. And when we're tired, what we know is we can't, it's very, very difficult, almost impossible, I would say, if it's a sustained exhaustion, to make good choices. It just doesn't happen. So trying to weed out the bad, bring in more good, kill the old tree, the roots of the old tree that bears bitter fruit, and create more of, plant more trees that bear sweet fruit. So that's the idea. And so that's why we get excited, because it's done that for us in our lives. I've never had this positive of life. If you look at my life 10 years ago compared to now, like you can't even recognize that life compared to this one. It literally is as if it's two different people's lives. And I'm very proud of that, not in an ego way, but when I look back and see those changes, it is 100% the fruit or results of the work that I've been doing. So I'm very proud of the fact that the work that I've been doing has been successful. It's helped not just me, but it's helped my kids. It's helped my clients. It's just been, it ripples. I always talk about the ripple effect. It
I love
absolutely
that.
ripples.
That's
Yeah.
like my favorite. We came up
Yeah.
with that, I think, in one of my sessions, and it was like, that is so, like, it's just the visual is so
Yeah.
powerful, because there's so many ripples touch everything. I mean, you can't get away. It's not just going in one direction, it's all around you. So
Yeah.
behind you, in front of you, beside you. So you got to make sure that what you're doing, what you're plunking, what you're putting down, your line in the sand is affecting other people in the same way. So how you feel and what you're exuding, other people are going to feel it too. So
Absolutely.
it's, yeah. Yeah.
When a ripple hits something, a ripple comes back. So what do you want to feel? But what you project is what you will receive. So if you have negative people
Mhm.
in your life, you might want to start with you, right? I had negative people in my life, a lot of negative people in my life. Why? Because I was projecting negativity all the time, judging others, judging myself, being critical, finding the things that were wrong in everything, and not having gratitude. I mean, I was a miserable person. And that all had to change if I wanted to not have a miserable life. So first I had to change me, and then I had to eliminate those negative things out of my life if they weren't if they couldn't change, if I couldn't change them situations, or if the people didn't want to change. So I had to either limit my time or just cut them out. And that was really hard. It was, some of those relationships were very difficult, for me to make that kind of decision. But it was necessary. It was necessary for me to be able to live my best life. And I don't want to say that selfishly. It was probably the most selfless thing I ever did, because me walking through life being a miserable person means I project negativity on everyone else who comes in contact with me. That's really selfish. But if I clean up my life and get the negativity out and become more of a positive person, now I send that ripple out. I project that. And that is something that sprinkles a little bit of sunshine in people's lives and helps them have a better experience in some way. So
Yeah.
it's really, really important that you guys think about, it's not just about us. It's about, no matter what we do, we're giving off something. Our greatest contribution to the world, to others in our life, is to be the best version of ourselves, because then, without even thinking about, without even having the intention to make an impact, we're making an impact just by being, striving to be better.
I guarantee this girl living her best life levels me up every single day. Every single day. And it's not, that's not egocentric for her. It's sending out that ripple to everyone whose life she touches. And that's the kind of thing you develop, because you learn to live at the top of that chart, and how to deal with things and the tools. And it's, some of it's 1 + 1 = 2. Some of it's way deeper work and things that you realize. And, I'm sticky notes everywhere, everywhere. It's one of the things I have from the very first time I went is, I believe in my ability to figure things out. And that was very impactful for me, because I was saying it, when I left, but I wasn't believing it. But I kept saying it. And like today, I mean, I've been through a lot of things since the first time I went. And, I've calmed down a little bit. I've settled into myself, and I'm like, you know what? I do believe in my ability to figure this out. I will, because I have the tools now. And if I don't have tools here, I know where to find them. I have people I can go to, so that community grows, and your toolbox grows, because there's other people that can share with you too. So it's a huge wide ripple effect. It's the ocean. Yeah. It's the tides going everywhere.
I remember feeling so desperate and so like hopeless and panicky whenever a struggle or an obstacle came into my life, like literally just not knowing how to deal with so much fear coming in, and just like making choices that were based on fear reaction to fear, and they weren't necessarily choices that were going to set it up for a positive result. But I couldn't even think future that way. I just was literally only thinking in the moment, and not in a positive, like being present in the moment way, just like mute this negativity now kind of way, like because I just couldn't cope with it. So making one bad choice after the other, just creating this domino effect of negativity around, and attracting, once I make a bad decision that creates a bad result, I attract like another bad situation around the bad result that I create by making a bad decision. It's just like on and on and on and on.
Circular.
Yeah, you literally just dig yourself in a pit, and you start having negative thoughts about yourself. I'm a loser. I'm never going to be able to get myself out of this situation. I don't deserve it. I'm not enough. I'm unworthy. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not successful enough. I'm not capable. Like just all these lies that we start telling ourselves because we don't have the tools, to create a better outcome. And when we are in that negative space, we just attract more negativity. We just do. It just happens like that. Flip side, we're in a positive space, we attract positive results. Once I started changing my life, starting my health, first I had to make that decision to take responsibility that my life is miserable because of the choices I made to make it miserable. It's all on me. I'm the driver on that one. So it wasn't him, it wasn't her, it wasn't that situation, it was me. And so once I was able to take responsibility and gain back my power, then I could start creating different behaviors and which create different outcomes. And so I started doing positive things, started losing weight. And then next thing I know, I was like, oh my gosh, Paula, can you do this? Can you be the speaker and represent this? Or can you take on this responsibility to help other people? Or could you be representative of this to help us grow this very awesome positive thing? And I was just like, wow, how am I getting these amazing people coming to me with these amazing opportunities to do super cool stuff, you know, for really cool other people. And that's how I started teaching fitness, and that's how I became a trainer. And then I started my business as a health coach, and you know, on and on and on, and speaking on stage, and being a mentor and a coach. Like, the person who was fat, obese, and depressed is now a leader and a mentor. Like, that just, like, how does that happen? Like, never in a lifetime does it seem like that could be possible. Certainly as a depressed, obese person, that was never going to happen. Right? Who wants that as a mentor? I couldn't even coach myself, you know, to get out of that pit. But that's what I'm talking about, or positive things to start. Like, Kelly, what are some of the positive things that you attracted as you started making these proactive changes?
Oh gosh. The people around me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the opportunities to go to different things. You know, I wasn't being the wallflower anymore. The opportunities to learn
Mm-hmm.
brought you into my life. Hero Mom, it led me to Hero Mom, and, you know, coaching got me into coaching. That changed my life too in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just opened, and it really, it changed my, I wouldn't say it changed. I think I always knew that the purpose was there, but it was something I didn't know was there until I became aware of it, till someone showed me that there was more in there, or whether it was the questions, because no one said there's more in there. I think it was the questions and the digging, and knowing that I could make a difference in other people's lives, that I can, you know, be a master coach in Hero Mom, and my experiences and my knowledge are helping these women. And I never would have thought that 4 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
ever. But I know I can make a difference. I know that because I've experienced it, and I'm confident, and I have knowledge, and I want to help these women. These women, especially, we have a whole new group of women that have come in, and they're hungry for knowledge. They want to learn, and I can help them. We, you know, the three of us together, I mean, we're a force to be reckoned with for sure. You know, but it's going to change their lives too. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
love about it. That's what I love when I, you know, it's like sprinkling that dust and going, here, I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share all this with you. And you can't help but glitter and be happy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's
Yeah.
just, you know, that's what happens. It's just like if I threw a bunch of charcoal at someone because I was mad at them, they're going to be black, you know, because it's going to be all over them. And that's just that negativity, you know.
Yeah.
So I prefer to sprinkle the fairy dust, and have everyone else be happy. So it's how I affect people. It's that's changed too. Like knowing that the way I am affects people. And probably I notice it most with my son. It's like if
Mhm.
I'm a whacked out, woohoo, mom, yelling or whatever, that affects him. But if I'm speaking to him, you know, in a way that he can understand, you know, and, you know, telling him I'm proud of him and recognizing certain things about him, you know, whether it's his love language or how he's done in something or whatever, that affects him too. And that affects how his day goes. So it really is how, you know, how you are is how other people are going to feel too. So if you're a grumpy goose, get over that. Let's flip the script, you know.
It's true. And the grumpy goose, for me anyway, and I see this as a common truth with my clients, is when we're grumpy, it's because life isn't going the way we want it. and life isn't going the way we want it because we're not showing up for ourselves somewhere. Some part of our lives, we know we're out of alignment. We are not in integrity of the best of who we know we can be. And so we blame something else and we keep making excuses, but we never step into it. And that is where that grumpy goose factor starts coming in, because if we give the power to something outside of ourselves, saying it's the fault of XYZ, but not us, we're never going to be able to solve or heal or get through that, because nobody else is going to come in and go, oh my gosh, you have an obstacle or a struggle. Let me come in and fix it for you. It would be awesome. I mean, as parents, we try to do that for our kids, but as an adult, like it just doesn't happen. You might have a spouse or a partner, or a friend who wants to help you out, but literally nobody can come in and make it go away. They might be able to help make an external piece of it go away, but inside that part, what's going on in there, that's all you. Like nobody else can change that. Even if somebody came in and removed an obstacle, you haven't learned how to do that because somebody else did that. So the next time that comes up, your best tool is, I got to find somebody else to come fix my life. Like it just, you're going to hit a wall on that one. And you're not going to feel good that you don't have the ability to do that yourself. Or at least take command of it, right? And gather the right resources, the right skills, the right knowledge, the right abilities, the wisdom. So when we are always looking outside of ourselves, and it's important to understand there's a difference between taking command and doing it ourselves versus working with others to create a better result. I'm not talking about not doing that, because I do believe to get to the highest levels, you have to do it with other people. But I'm talking about just internally the things that are going on. People can't fix that for you. And so the grumpy goose attitude, at least for me and many of my clients, comes from them knowing they're not doing what they should do. And they're letting themselves down for it. And they're just disappointed that that's the choice that they made. And until they change that choice, they stay the grumpy goose, at least in that area. Right. Is that your experience too, Kels?
Yeah. And I like what you say about, that's their choice, because life is a series of choices. Are we going to make the positive choice, or are we going to make the not so positive choice? And, I mean, I'm by no means perfect. There are times, when something bad happens, my initial reaction is like, the old reaction. And there are times I have to talk myself through that, because it'll be a little bit of that up and down, and maybe not this much, but it's, I still have to talk myself down from certain things, but I'm getting better at it. And the more I do it, I'm not so much going to that initial reaction. And usually if it's a really out of character reaction for me, it's usually because I'm tired, or that type of thing. It's something I haven't been following what I should be following, whether I'm eating poorly, I haven't been eating like on time, I'm hungry, I'm tired. Those types of things create bad decisions for me too, whether it's eating bad food or just snapping, not being my normal self. So
those are perfect examples of Kelly not showing up for herself.
Yes. Right? Absolutely right. And those are choices I make, because of factors I was not taking care of, because of those choices, and all those choices compound and create that blow up or whatever it might be. And like Paula said, I'm not showing up for myself. And so what does that do? It means I'm not showing up for everyone else around me too. So it creates that negative ripple for everyone else when it's not what I intended, but I didn't set the intention either. So it's very, yes.
That'd be cranky Kelly.
I know, you don't want cranky Kelly.
We want cool Kelly.
Yes. Absolutely.
But it's true. And this is, again, tying it back to the whole live events thing for personal development, is where we go to level up our tools, to get better skilled with using the tools that we've learned. When you find a guru or a mentor or a small handful of them, like, go deep there, because you're never going to get that deep level when you just go a couple of times to to a live or read one or two of their books. Like, get close to that community, to that guru. Get a coach that's under that guru if they have that. But get somewhere in there where you're getting to the benefit of their version of 50 layers deep of their philosophies. If I would have just gone to High Performance Academy, even at 11 times of going to High Performance Academy, it would absolutely have enriched my life. But what's really made the difference is becoming a certified coach, coaching others in high performance, having high performance friends, being part of a high performance community, being in that high performance world, reading the books, not just reading the books, studying the books, outlining the books, pulling out the frameworks, inserting all of those tools and that knowledge in my life, being a person who role models life as a high performer. All of those things are what has helped me with my life. There are other, besides high performance, there are other gurus who are awesome out there who have really great stuff too. But this is the one that I gelled with. This is the one that I connected with. This is the one that I have been able to dig in deep and just like really, really go for it and relate on so many levels with it. And so I just absolutely love it. It's become really, truly like a soulful experience. And what I know that is we have to feel it, right? If it doesn't have meaning, if we can't feel it, if it's not an experience for us, then there's no fulfillment in it. And there's no happiness if there's no fulfillment. Like, you just, people who have tons of money but aren't happy because they're missing fulfillment. So we have to bring fulfillment in everything that we do. And then it does, then how much money we have or how many friends we have or what kind of house we have, that stops being the most important parts of it, right? We get into experiencing it from a soul level. And that's what I love. That's what I love about it. I'll show you guys an example of some of how I immerse myself in my house. This is my office. So up there, I have a lot of high performance frameworks. Those are my words and my purpose statement that I keep there for me to just remind myself and read every day. There's my definition of high performance. There's also my little HEROMOM ornament. And that's my light so you guys can see me. And a mirror so I can see my really cute bookshelf behind me. And then I also have up here, it's all my HEROMOM, immersing myself in my HEROMOM philosophies and beliefs as well, keeping all of that top of mind and just having, whiteboards that I just like have the opportunity to just, immerse myself in what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I want to experience, what brings me meaning. Like, it's important to me to have all of those things so that I am connected to those things all the time. And I spend my whole day talking about high performance. And I love it. I love it.
Oops.
Kels,
sorry.
For you, like, how do you immerse yourself in your practice? Like, I do call it a practice, kind of like a something that you have to practice every day, like a yoga practice. Like, if you don't use it, it goes away. So you have to stay in practice with it. My high performance planner, where I plan my day. Like,
Yep.
What are some of the tools that you have, Kels?
I have my planner, of course, every morning. And I also have my gratitudes. So I do my 3 gratitudes, and I have an affirmation statement that I do after that. And recently, I just started my manifestation journal. So that's been big for me. I've been reading a lot about that, and it just really helps me set my intention. And I just started. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at brain dumping things, at writing things down, because I am such a rule follower. I feel like it has to be, book publishing quality. So for me to brain dump and just kind of write free form is challenging for me, but it's getting better. Mm-hmm. So I always start with, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then I just start writing, and that's everything that I want to happen. And my spiritual coach, William Dale, he also told me to write it in as much detail as possible. So, and I'm learning because it puts me in that position. It helps me envision that so that I feel it. And I'm manifesting those good things. Just like if we're thinking bad things,
Yeah.
like what if this happens? Well,
Hmm.
it's going to happen because you've already said it, you're concentrating on it, and you're bringing the power to that. So it's that type of thing. So that's what I've done. I have, several, Brendan's written several books. And because I am, like I need some kind of plan. He does courses with a lot of them. So to be able to go through a course with a book for me is, really, it's a success thing for me because I know I'll get it done. But right now I have the Motivation Manifesto. I had this book for a long time. And like you said, Paula, there's certain books you just can't get through. And then this one still is tough for me, but I find that when I can hear the words and read the words at the same time, it's much more impactful. But this is a very meaty book. So it's, to study that takes time. So I have to schedule that into my day. So that's another thing that I do is I schedule those things into my planner, those types of things. So, and I've got sticky notes everywhere. We talked about creative expression. Can you see that?
There it is.
Yeah, creative expression, and how I was saying I don't have any, so, but because I was attaching the fact that you had to be a painter, you had to be a dancer, you had to be something artistic, and I went back to my notes after that and wrote down the definition because it has nothing to do with that. And it just says it's sharing a unique identity with the world and making a mark in the world. That has nothing to do with dancing or painting so I have that where I can see it. I ask myself this question all the time: how will this affect my future? That's always in front of me. So that's just one of those, kind of like a trigger thing for me. And then kind of my mission. I keep that on a sticky note too. Be so completely myself that others feel safe to be themselves too. So
Love that.
I keep all those in front of me. And that's been a very big tool for me. I have sticky note out area. I have sticky notes on my mirror when I wake up in the morning. I got sticky notes everywhere. So I'm a list maker. I have to have that stuff in front of me. I'm very visual. So I can't rely on my memory for things. And I know that. So I write everything down. And I read my board every morning. I'm a world-class CHPC. That's a certified high performance coach. That's what I tell myself every single day. And I know that I am. So I believe in my ability to figure things out. I have my clarity words and how I want to serve people every day. So really, for me, it's writing things out. It's the very visual, very, very visual thing for me.
Reminders, or the things that you want to keep like on the top of mind, your mental dashboard that allows you to stay connected to that, because we're changing behaviors, and when you're changing behaviors, you're not going to automatically go to it just because one day you have a super huge strong conviction. Oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to reach this goal. And this is why, when people make New Year's resolutions or just set goals loosely, why they don't achieve them, because they don't equip themselves, they don't set up themselves or prepare themselves and their life to be able to stay connected to that new conviction. So it doesn't mean that that new conviction, because it goes away, wasn't really a conviction. It just means that that new behavior wasn't supported. So, our brain doesn't want to make changes. That feels like stress. So brain's like, that's stress. I don't like. That's negative. So I'm going to push you to go to the familiar, usual way that you always go, because then you're calm, then you're comfortable, but it doesn't produce good results. Your brain, that part of your brain, isn't trying to think, like push you to be uncomfortable to get to the better result. You have to access that side of your brain, different side of your brain, to stay connected to that piece, right? But if you don't set up all of these things like what Kelly and I have shared, it's very easy to slip back into old behaviors. Mind you, I didn't start like this. This is where I'm at now. Where I started was with my health. So first thing was go to the gym. I signed up for a 6 or 8 week weight loss competition with a trainer in a small group twice a week. That was it. That was my level of immersion at that time. I needed the guidance. I needed a mentor. I needed the structure. I needed the support. I needed something that I could follow, that I could stick to, and have access to the tools that I needed. So that kind of had all of it right there. And then once I successfully made it through that, I added on more stuff and added on. And now I'm at this place where this is what added on looks like for me. And Kelly has her version of that too. And it will change over time. I like to have all this stuff in front of me because it's just easy for me to, to look at, read, remind myself, use as tools. I use these frameworks and tools that I have up here constantly with my clients all the time. So teaching others is a really great way to immerse. The people who know it the best are the ones who are always teaching and reteaching it to others. So find a way to share what you learn with others that will help you and them. And it's very rewarding. So we'll share more of what we're learning as we, with each day that we're at High Performance Academy. We're excited to share that with you guys because we just get super excited about it in general. And we hope that you guys will enjoy it too. If you have any questions about, let us know. If you want to join our community where we talk more about high performance and about health and about just legacy, click on that link to get into HEROMOM Nation and join us. It's for women only. But if you're a guy, get one of your women in your life to join. If you think this is something for them that would be positive for them, they want to be in a group of positive women who are really going after making their life better than it was before. And we start focusing first with health, and we also bring in the personal development aspects of high performance and other things too. Click on that link, share that link with them, or if you're a woman, click on that link, get in there and hang out with us. Until tomorrow, you guys have an amazing rest of your Tuesday, and we'll meet up with you Wednesday morning.
Choose to be happy today. Do it.
All right, you guys. Catch you tomorrow.